Well, I will speak on our medical society too. There's just not enough.
Take one.
Take one. All right. Hello, gang.
Hi.
How are you? You doing all right?
Yes. How are you? For sure.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Just ready to see if I can maintain that level of consciousness that Spirit took me to over there in Amsterdam. Just been boosting it up, giving me more and more opportunities to practice what I'm talking about, because I realize that the main person that entered these classes for, like I've said many, many times before, that I'm teaching what I need to learn. And that's the thing that you can be most enthusiastic about, is what you want to learn yourself. And so this stuff keeps on keeping me really enthusiastic, because I keep seeing the results. And I like learning through rewards. As, you know, I used to have to learn through putting myself through a bunch of crap that I'd be trying to get out of later. Y'all wouldn't know nothing about that path, right? You just got it all together all the time. But, I know. Got a few new faces in the house tonight. Welcome. There's only one guideline to this class. Basically, you don't need to believe it, you don't need to accept it, you don't need to welcome it. Some of the stuff I say may seem startling, some of it might be hard to believe. You might say, that's hard to believe. Yeah, that's okay. What we're looking for is whatever the particular thought or statement that you might hear that may resonate with you. It may be none at all, or it may be one sentence out of the whole hour that you say, oh, okay, I was wondering why I ended up here. Maybe that's why, because basically I don't believe that there are any coincidences or accidents. So it's no accident that out of all the places in the universe we could be, that we happen to be here together tonight. So I'm thankful and I'm grateful, and I'm glad and I'm curious to see what it is we're going to learn and what we're going to hear together tonight, you know. We've been working on the freedom of the body from the Course of Love. Basically, what we want to do is get rid of the blocks to keep us from experiencing the love. That's really what the basis of what the Course of Love is about. It's like love is real, it's there. Most of us, sometimes we feel like it's not there because we have those intervening periods where we are thinking something or feeling something that's opposite to that. And sometimes we forget that the way that we're feeling is coming from the thoughts that we're giving ourselves primarily at the time. And so really our feelings are coming from the meanings that we're giving everything around us. Right? I mean, you get upset because somebody cut in front of you in the traffic because of the meaning that you're giving to someone cutting in front of you in the traffic. And then that's upsetting you. So really it wasn't the person that cut in front of you in the traffic that upset you, it was the meaning that you gave it. And no, I have to say that over and 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 over, because sometimes I forget that, and I can tell when I've forgotten it, because when I've forgotten it, I'm giving my peace away. That's how I can tell about how I feel, you know. So this part of the freedom of the body section is talking about changing beliefs and letting go of beliefs. And I think it's, see where we leave off. On page 208. Because we talked about belief and imagination. It's been a couple of weeks. Okay, now, okay, so it's top of 210. And it starts off by saying the purging of old beliefs frees space for the new beliefs. So when I'm trying to change my beliefs, I need to create a space for that belief to come in. So think of some part of your life, some area of your life right now that you would like to be experiencing differently from the way that you're experiencing it. Okay? And then go to the next level and realize that the reason why you're experiencing it that way is because of the beliefs that you have, right? And so we want to purge the beliefs. So we're talking about basically I want to make space for new beliefs. So sometimes I think it's easier to say I want to make space for new beliefs than to focus on I want to purge my old beliefs. Right. Purging my old beliefs sounds like a lot of work. But making space, that sounds easier, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to make space for new beliefs because it allows your form to reflect what and who you are now in terms that coincide with the you whom you've always been. There is no quick route to this purging. There is no quick route to this purging, as it is the most individual of accomplishments. The thing that we both most have to handle for ourselves is telling us is purging our old beliefs. No one can purge your old beliefs for you. So no matter what your childhood was like, no matter what your story is, the purpose of it was to bring you to the point that you are right now, right? And so you got to give your story up at some point. You know, I got to get my story up and realize that I can have some new beliefs that'll give me a new experience. What is it that keeps me from doing that quickly? There's a payoff in the old beliefs that I'm not ready to give up yet. Payoff. There's some benefit to me at some unconscious level to keeping it the way that it is. So much so that I haven't made a shift yet. Do I beat myself up about that? No, I just recognize it. Okay. I don't think beating yourself up about stuff really works. Yeah, I think if it would, we'd have a much happier world. Right? Just face it, that's like one of the first places we go when something goes wrong is just to feel bad about it. Make ourselves feel bad about it. So maybe the opposite is true. Maybe the answer is to not beat ourselves up, be gentle with ourselves, recognize we could change our beliefs, and support ourselves with other people who want to do the same thing, and mutually focus on these new ideas as much as we can, because ideas increase in strength the more you share them, and ideas are the one thing you can give away and still keep. I can give away the idea of your innocence and still keep the idea of innocence. I love that. So it's really not hard to change. The course teaches it's just a matter of motivation. How motivated am I? Well, most people don't get really motivated until they're completely destroyed. We're trying to do it easier, right? Yeah, you know, yeah, it's like I've done the coming out of the corner battling when I've just taken myself all the way to the limit. You know, I'm trying to voluntarily make the changes in my mind now. Because, you know, if you're not willing to make the change voluntarily internally, the plan calls for changes in your external situation that brings you to that same point. So if I won't choose for love internally, I'll have situations and events and relationships in my life that will make me eventually get to the point that I'm going to choose for love. So again, it's going to happen. Love is our destiny. Peace is our destiny. Happiness is our destiny. No matter how hard we try to avoid it. And I've done some good avoidance in my life, you know. So as you learn your beliefs, you must unlearn your beliefs. As you begin the process of unlearning, you will feel tested. As you begin the process of unlearning, you will feel tested. As you start to do the unlearning, you will feel tested. You are not being tested really, but what really happened is you're being given opportunities for unlearning. So wherever I'm feeling tested is where I'm being given an opportunity for an unlearning. So I'm no longer being tested by life. I'm just being given opportunities for unlearning my old beliefs that block me. So this is another opportunity to unlearn an old belief that blocks me. Thank God for that relationship that you'll eventually have that'll bring you to the point that you'll do all relationships differently for the rest of your life. You know, be glad for that job that was so miserable for you that you made the decision you would never do another job that didn't bring you some kind of fulfillment. You know what I'm saying? Be thankful for that illness that you had that made you want to choose to deal with your body and look at your body differently. Like, the truth is, all those things were opportunities for unlearning. Opportunities for unlearning, especially in the areas of relationship. That's one of the best places you can do it. Isn't that right? Because I'd be damned if they won't always fulfill your script like you want them to. You know, that's the only problem in the relationship anyway. If they just change, I'd be happy. That's the mantra, isn't it? If they just change, then everything will be all right. If that circumstance just changed, then I'd be happy. If I was in another place, I'd be happy. You know, they just did this one little thing differently, I'd be happy. That's the plan of fear and unhappiness and misery. Because what you're doing is you're setting it up where your happiness depends on everything outside of you changing. That's a lose-lose situation immediately. But a plan that's so obviously messed up is amazing how hopeless still is. I will still spend some time during the day saying, if something changed, then I will be happy. You know, you know, it's like I get a lot of wonderful responses to the videos that I've been making As a matter of fact, that's how I just ended up in Amsterdam, was because of the video. And received really a lot of support and acknowledgement, but every now and then, you know, you get something from somebody and they'll be criticizing something that you're doing that they wish you would do it differently, then they really like you at that point, you know, like I like music a lot, so sometimes you get those people who have a problem with music, you know, like, the music is distracting, or the music is this, and it's really interesting to me because it's not until you follow your own heart and do it the way that has meaning for you that you end up surrounded by the people that love it the way you do, because you're being authentically who you are. And every time you change something because somebody else may not like it, you're actually convincing that person, number one, that they can control other people, and number two, that their happiness depends on something outside of themselves. And so I like to always be, you know, able to give people the lesson that their happiness comes from within by refusing to change anything the way I like to do it.
Perfect.
Because then they get a chance to see that their happiness has nothing to do with whether I play music or not, or whether it has anything to do with anything like that. It's your choice. It's your interpretation that's upsetting you, not the thing that's happening. But since I'm going to do it every day, and I'm going to do it consistently, then it's very important that I do it the way I love to do it, because anybody that's watching it is going to come and go anyway. So it wouldn't make any sense to try to gear yourself around any particular individual's likes or dislikes. And it's not that they mean any harm, that they're trying to be attacking by saying that, but you always get that opportunity to see, okay, what do I really want in my heart, and am I going to follow my heart? Am I going to go in the direction that inspires me? So that's why, as you begin to wake up, what you want to do is find out what the people around you want and support them in being who they are, rather than trying to support them in changing themselves to be who you want them to be. Because if you're true to yourself, you'll always draw people to you who need you just the way you are, and just the way you are is perfect for them. So not only would they not be trying to change you, they will be encouraging you to be more like you are, and being excited about the fact that you may show up as more you.
Cool.
Okay, are you with me on that?
Yeah.
All right, so but it also means that at the same time, you're going to attract people to you who won't change for you either. So you'll get a chance to see how much you mean what you're saying. See, because that reflection is going to come back. So that means I've got to let go of my controlling tendencies, and I've got to let go of trying to change people around me, because I'm going to also be attracting people who also follow their heart, and they also do what they feel is best for them, more so than trying to please me also. So then it becomes an issue of, could you really deal with meeting yourself? So because what you are, you're going to meet, you know. So, but the fun thing about meeting people who take responsibility for their own happiness is that it cuts way down on guilt and attack. Because they don't think you're responsible for what they're feeling, so they're not so quick to blame you for what they're going through. So it's always more fun to be with people who take responsibility for their experience than it ever is to be with people who hold you responsible for their happiness. But you got to be strong, because they're not going to play games with you that you're used to playing, which is guilt tripping somebody through guilt and anger into doing what you want them to do, or threatening to withhold. They don't respond to that because they know love wouldn't do that. So your old games and tricks don't work in the new thought system. It's like you're trapped in love. It's like you have to really be loving now, for real, and not just lip service. You know, it's a powerful thing we're going through right now. And that's what's happening in the world, as far as I can see. It's like everything is going to critical mass, so that people will make the decision that there must be a better way, and we've got to do it another way. Because we don't realize it's our consciousness and it's our minds that's creating everything that's happening around us, because we're unlimited spiritual beings inhabiting a physical body who've forgotten that we're more than what we were taught we were by the world. So now we think we are these limited beings that's trying to make it, hoping that the economy doesn't collapse, because that's determining what's going to happen to us, instead of knowing we are infinite creators who are creating these things through our own consciousness and actions and feelings and beliefs. And we can change it by changing our minds and our consciousness. Nobody's teaching us that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we're creating the stuff that's destroying us in our perception, and don't even know we're the ones that's doing it, because we have lost awareness of how powerful we are. And then when somebody reminds us, that part of us that's afraid of our power, we actually see the person that's reminding you of your power is somehow being evil, bad, a cult leader, trying to somehow get the money you don't even have. You know what I'm saying? So then we're afraid of love and we love fear. So somebody that's really, really loving is who we're most suspicious of. And then people who don't act loving, we're not as suspicious of because now they're acting like we think people act. So the really loving person brings up the fear. So these are an example of the kind of beliefs that need to be purged to make space for the new beliefs. Because everything you're seeing is being projected from your mind, and everything you think is outside of your mind is actually inside of your mind. You think you're inside your body, but your body's inside you. Deep in it. Yeah, it's deep. That's why you have to believe it, accept it, welcome it, might be startling, all that other stuff. Then we can really have fun, have conversations that's different from regular conversations. It might sound crazy, but it's more entertaining than most of the stuff I hear people talk about. Don't you think? Yeah. Whether we believe it or not, it's really good to hear something different. Yeah. So it says as you begin the process of unlearning, you may feel tested. You're not being tested, but given opportunities for unlearning. To learn that a previously held belief is no longer valid is the only way to truly purge that belief. So if I want to get rid of a belief that I think is limiting me, the easiest way to do it is to learn that that belief that I've been holding is no longer valid for me. It's no longer valid for me that I'm going to be in relationships that I am attacked in and not supported in. It's no longer valid for me that I'm going to accept that poverty and lack is the normal way to live. It's no longer valid for me to believe that I'm alone against the world and not supported by anything or anybody. It's no longer valid for me to act like there's not a higher power greater than my ego that I can call on. So you have to go, that's not valid for me anymore as a way to purge a belief. It has no validity for me anymore. Putting myself down has no validity for me anymore. Not allowing myself to have joy has no validity for me anymore. Voluntarily say that so that you won't create circumstances that will bring you to that conclusion through some form of challenge and pain. And if you are going through some kind of challenge and pain, then just look at it as what? An opportunity for unlearning. Then you won't beat yourself up about it, and you can be with it in peace. This is I feel like crap today. Must be an opportunity for unlearning. That's one of the ways I can tell, because I'm not feeling peace right now. Got it? Yeah, Chris.
Okay, you were talking about a payoff to the old beliefs. I recognize that one of my old beliefs is that I don't want to accept everything. I don't want to accept that I make mistakes. I don't want to accept I don't want to accept everything about me. And I believe the payoff is, I don't know. Well, I have fear. I have tremendous panic of accepting everything. I have tremendous panic about accepting everything, because if I accept everything, then how do I know how do I know where I stand as far as good and evil and all that? How do I know where I stand? You know? And so I might need to know. My need to know is the payoff. And so in me just saying this, was that like a huge step in me, like letting go of that?
Yeah. Once you get, I believe it. I believe that once you get in touch with what the payoff is for you, then at the very least you'll stop believing you're the victim of what's going on and realize you're the one that's perpetuating it because you think you're going to get that payoff. So that's the beauty of it, is that you see that you're setting it up that way because of the payoff that you think you're getting. Like a person wanting to keep an old belief. Well, obviously that belief to you still has some payoff that you don't want to let go of yet. And one of the rules that we learn through the course is keep what you do want, give up what you don't want. Then you're not in conflict. So if you want to hang on to that belief a while longer, keep it. And when you're ready to let it go, let it go. See, that's too simple. That's too simple, because the conflict comes from thinking that you don't want it, but you're being forced to keep it. Conflict comes from not taking responsibility for what you're experiencing. Conflict comes from believing something's happening to me that I don't want to happen. You know, when I got to the point that I go, at some level, the peace that I'm feeling or not feeling about this situation is coming from my own thoughts and beliefs. And just say it that got rid of the conflict. You know, just admitting, I don't even know how I created this, but I created this. I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but I feel this way, but I'm the one that's creating me feeling this way. even if it's the stuff you don't like, if you'll own it, you're still empowering yourself as much as you would be empowering yourself if it was stuff you were saying that you did like. Because the name of this game is I'm powerful, I'm not alone, and I'm not a victim. And sometimes that's a bittersweet pill to swallow when you become aware of the things that you're creating for yourself. So that's why it's a very popular concept in the world. Self-responsibility, I create my reality, my consciousness creates my experience. That's not going to fly in the general population because a lot of people are thinking that they're experiencing so much unhappiness that it's hard for them to believe that they would create that for themselves. It would seem crazy, right? And that's exactly what it is. It's crazy. And so most people don't want to admit they're freaking out of their minds, that we're insane until we choose for love. But even in this world, we have compassion for insane people. You know what I'm saying? So really, when I accept that I'm being insane when I'm attacking, I'm being insane when I'm lacking, and I'm being insane when I'm demanding and commanding, then I'll kind of be more gentle with myself. Right now, I'm just in an insane state of mind. That's it. You know, so I got to purge a belief to let a new belief in. Yeah.
You said something a little while ago, and I might have missed this completely, but I'll ask. You said when you recognize something just to paraphrase, that something's not right, you're not feeling right, and it's time to unlearn. It's basically kind of like it's kind of what you said. Now again, I like to ask you what you do on a practical level. How do you stop yourself? You know, I'm asking you how you stop yourself, and how do you unlearn at that moment, or what can you do to start that process of unlearning? What's the method that you use? What is
the method that I use when I can remember to use it? Okay, is I've gotten to the point that I don't associate feelings of anger and fear with correct perception. It used to be a time when I felt most self-righteous when I was angry. Like if I was upset about something, I must be right. Okay, it's because I wouldn't be upset for no reason at all. Right. What I've learned through the course is that that's my clue that I'm not perceiving correctly, that I need to breathe if it's all possible and ask for another way to look at it. So as soon as I can, that's what I do. I don't like the way I feel right now, so I hope I'm wrong about this. Because if I was really seeing things correctly, then I would still be able to maintain my peace, even if I was still communicating the thing that I needed to communicate. I used to believe that, in other words, sometimes you just can't tell the truth without putting some type of anger behind it. Like you just can't tell a person, this doesn't work for me and I'm no longer going to deal with this anymore with you. I used to think that I had to put a lot of anger behind it, like, I'm not going to deal with it. And so it's like, so when I began to realize that the anger was unnecessary, if I would look at it in a peaceful way, I could still just as much take a stand for what I believed was right without feeling like I had to attack myself with the anger in the meantime, because nobody else is feeling my anger but me anyway. So why would I want to attack myself first? And so I realized I was having a lot of thoughts that were attacking me.
Right.
So when something comes up, I try to breathe.
Right.
But if I don't breathe and I find myself reacting, then the only afterward message of that to me was that was my call for love. That was my opportunity for unlearning. Okay. Right?
Some recognition.
Right. And I'm going to try to do it differently the next time. Okay. You know, don't do that again. But not I'm bad, I'm pitiful, I'm condemned, I'll never get it, God hates me. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I don't need that whole host of crap that used to go with it. It's like, okay, my goal was peace. I lost my temper yesterday. That means I really didn't see things correctly in that moment. Let me breathe, and in the next situation that comes up, I'm going to try to choose again another way. So more and more it becomes choose once again, 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 choose once again. All day is choose once again, choose once again, choose. Because the only power the Course says we have left in the world is basically the power of decision, the power of choice.
So recognize, breathe, make another choice.
Ask for another way to look at it.
And if that don't work, do it again.
If that don't work, do it again. If that don't work, do it again. There you go. See, yeah, because our mind has a tendency. Our mind has a tendency to think. You should say it or do it one time, and it's going to suffice forever.
Yeah.
Not that I should keep asking for another way to look at it all day long, but I already asked for another way to look at it at 8 o'clock this morning. You know, it's like, no,
Okay.
I need to do it every time something comes up that I'm willing to give my piece away about.
Cool.
Okay, and if it's, and don't put anything that I've said before the feelings of your own being. So even though I'm answering this, in the end, go with what you feel in the gut, and your gut is best for you to do, always.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
that's bottom line. Because in the end, what this really is about is you learn how to go within and trust your own inner guidance,
Okay.
and get in trust with spirit within you.
Right.
Right.
I found that this last couple of years here, it's been a process of me trusting my gut,
Right.
because I haven't trusted my gut, and the more I'm surrounded by and being taught love, what the truth, the more it's been easier for me to trust my gut.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't a lot of the times, just a lot of times it's still, well, this mathematically does not equate, or something like that, some crap like that. But and I, still want a graph and a chart, and a picture, or something like that. But that makes a lot of sense. It reminds me of really quickly and lastly of a saying this woman taught me years ago: pause when agitated.
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of the start of this process you're talking about.
Well, I think
another way.
that the further you go on the spiritual path, what I've noticed is the importance of breath becomes more and more. You hear more and more about breath. The deeper you get on the spiritual path, most spiritual paths, sooner or later you get face to face with breath,
Right.
and how and breathing, and it's really funny because if you were to think about it in a way, breath is what actually has the Spirit of God. Think about it. It's like, what is the one thing that each and every one of us sitting up here have to do right now? We got to breathe. And then it seems like we're breathing the same thing. And then it's going through our bodies. So the truth is, it's just one thing in this room going through all these bodies. And pretending that it's separate bodies sitting up here doing it. And the real fun doesn't really begin until you realize that's the game that's going on. That it's the one pretending like it's the many. It's just one of us here, really. And if you just walk through the day thinking that without ever saying anything to anybody about that, you would be amazed at how much more peaceful and loving your day will be, even if you don't say it out loud to anybody that you're around.
Cool.
Because once you really get clear that you have your own personal individual self, you don't spend so much time trying to prove to people how important you are and how important your point of view is and all that other stuff. It becomes completely unnecessary because you realize that it doesn't really matter. You can think whatever you want to think. You can do whatever you want to do. Nobody's stopping you from living your life the way you want to live it. So just do it. Where it used to be more like I would have an idea about what I should do and then I'd run it past people so that I could get their opinion of it. Now it's more like the reverse is true. I get guidance from within. It feels really clear to me. It feels really good to me. And I purposely don't say anything to anybody else because I don't want to hear what they think about it. Because if they have a different path than you, they're going to almost feel compelled to tell you what's wrong with the point of view that you just shared with them, because it's opposite to what they believe. Does that make sense to everybody?
Right.
So most people identify with their belief system. So as soon as you say something different from what they believe, they react as if you just attacked them because they're so identified with it, right? And so it's hard for a person to be objective about something they've got a personal investment in. You wouldn't ask your partner pretty much their objective opinion on this person you met today that you're attracted to. Okay, it's going to be very difficult for them to be objective about, because they got a personal investment in the relationship they have with you. That's why sometimes you can get better advice with somebody sitting on the airplane next to you, because they have absolutely no investment in what you're going through. But usually what people do is ask advice of the people who have the greatest investment in the answer, which is going to make it hard for them to really be objective and honest. That's why when you're in a special relationship, sometimes it's harder to be honest with the person who's most special to you, because that conversely is the same person you're most afraid of losing by what you say. So it becomes tougher for you to why do you tell me the truth? Because you're the one I'm most afraid of losing. I'm not as afraid of losing the rest of the people. I don't have as much investment in this specialist, so it's easy for me to tell them exactly what I'm thinking and feeling. If you notice, that must be true, because right at the end of relationships, people don't have any problem telling you everything they think about you that they wouldn't say when everything was cool. because they know they're not afraid of losing you anymore. Matter of fact, they might want to. So they're saying that stuff just to speed the whole process along. Because they've already made up their mind. But it's hard for a person to tell the truth when they think it's going to result in them losing you.
Yeah.
That's why I always wonder why people think that's such a weird concept. Well, how come you couldn't tell me that? Well, first of all, the last time I told you this, anything like this, you went off.
Yeah.
So you didn't really make it easy for me to tell the truth about it the other time. So I pretty much want peace. So you don't make it easy for me to tell you the truth. You don't make it easy. There's no reward. There's no payoff. You know, there's no peace happening here as a result of that. So yeah, I still may tell you the truth anyway, but it's not as easy as I'd like for it to be. But if you were to show me that it's okay to tell you the truth by acting sane and being able and have beliefs that allow you to really listen and breathe and be present and hold space, then I'm going to talk to you about more and more and more and more stuff. Yeah.
Why are you blaming to the other person for not saying the truth? Why are you blaming the other person for not saying the truth?
Well, most people feel like if the person isn't telling the truth, then they're dishonest and they're betraying them in some way. You know, in other words, you know that people have a tendency to expect other people to have qualities that they themselves don't have. As if you've always told, quote unquote, the truth 100% of the time, all the time, no matter what. It's really funny how people do that. It's like, how could you dare lie to me or deceive me? It's like, in your entire life, you've never done anything deceptive? But that's why I'm getting so mad at you. Exactly. That's exactly why you're getting so mad at me, because you're the exact same way. And you're trying to get rid of your guilt about being that way by projecting it all on me and making it seem like it's me. Because I'm really trying to project, which I think is such a great way to put it. I'm trying to project what's in me onto you to get rid of it. Just like when you throw some paper in a wastebasket, it's a form of projection. I've gotten rid of it by throwing it outside of myself. Well, that's the same thing that's happening psychologically, emotionally, and mentally too. We're trying to throw away what's inside of ourselves, and the way it works is you throw it away and you make it look like it's in somebody else, as if you don't have that same quality or you yourself have not done that same thing. That's why the Course teaches the only thing that separates us is time. I do the same thing you do, I just do it at a different time, then I tell you we're different. You see what I'm saying? You lose your temper in the morning and I stay peaceful and I say, you just somebody that get upset all the time. Then I get upset in the evening and you stay peaceful and you tell me I'm the one that get upset all the time. So the truth is the only difference between us was time.
Right.
So we're not really different at all. As a matter of fact, it's impossible to be with somebody that's truly different from you. Ooh. 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 I'm counting on being different from you if you're not doing what I like you to do. But you want to get rid of the conflict? Own it. You want to get rid of the conflict? You know. Yeah, you act like a jealous maniac last night at that party. Do you know there's a jealous maniac inside me too? And we both got to ask for another way to look at jealousy so we can handle it better. Not go, you're so jealous and I don't understand because I don't never feel that at all. That's going to perpetuate the separation. Because the truth is, if you're with them and you still want to be with them, at some level you're resonating at the same, you both got the same thing going on at different times. That shouldn't be so hard to that shouldn't be like to me, if you say you love me, why would it be a sacrifice for you to admit that we're the same? Think about that just for a minute. If you say you love me, why do you need to be so different from me? For you to be okay. But you love me. But you don't want to own no quality of me as being worthy of you or a part of you, but you love me. Wow. I didn't even begin to remotely move toward love in my life until I realized I didn't have the slightest freaking idea about what it was or how to do it. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? It's like I couldn't even begin to move away from fear until I admit I had it. You know? So when I'm around somebody and say, I'm not afraid of anything or anyone. All right, that's fine. That's good. Your universe will definitely give you an opportunity to see if that is indeed true. You know, and I hope it is. I'm not wishing you ill, but I noticed that most external attack in my life stopped when I started admitting to the internal attacker in me. And when I was Mr. Nice Guy against the world that wasn't so cool, I was always meeting not so cool people and being a really nice guy who looked like he was being put upon, by all these mean people out here who really didn't appreciate him as nice as he is. And they were always showing up, you know. Then I went, every quality I see in anybody out there, anywhere, is in me, but I'll try to choose not to let it direct my actions. That's different. There's a murderer in me, but I won't let him murder. Then I don't have to meet the murderers. I don't have to meet the murderer that's in me out there, because out there is just going to show me what's in me. And what I'm in denial about is what is going to show me first. And that's even if you're in denial about how beautiful you are, and how loving you are, and how kind you are, and how gracious you are. That when I say this, it's not just about negative things. So in that case, you will seem like you're a person who has people in your life treating you better than you think you deserve. So you'll be this person that looks like people are treating me so wonderfully, and I'm not really worthy of what they're giving me. You are just meeting your own denial of how wonderful and beautiful and loving and good you are. And it's showing up in your life to show you that you're lying about yourself when you say you don't deserve love or that you can't be loved. So anything you're in denial about will show up. I'm in denial about God, then the reality of God will start showing up in my life, because what I deny was believing to deny it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it always comes back to the Course says to, what is your purpose? What do you want? What are you doing it for? Like, what are you doing it for? In other words, are you listening from the perspective of trying to find a flaw in everything I say when I'm only saying you're loving and deserve love? Or are you listening from the perspective of, what is he saying that is loving that I could side with about myself? Most people approach learning as more like, I'm trying to find the flaw in what's being said in this reasoning right here, rather than asking themselves, what is the purpose of the speaker? What point is the speaker trying to get across? Am I a speaker, for instance, that's trying to get across the idea of your guilt, your condemnation, and you not being enough? Am I a teacher that's trying to get across that you're valid, you're worthy, you're important, and you're powerful? The ones you kind of get clear about what my purpose is, then it becomes easier to decide whether do I want to side with those ideas or do I want to oppose those ideas. So if you want to oppose the idea of your power, then you're going to focus on everything that weakens you and then turn your back on everything that would empower you, because for some reason you think not being enough or seeing yourself as not being loving is serving you in some way. So I'm going to get you in a minute. So there's a line in the Course that says, even if you don't know how to achieve these incredibly beautiful, wonderful goals, would you like that to happen? You know, the issue is, would you like that to happen more so than how to do it? See, that's what we forget. The how is what we focus on, but really it's the purpose that's most important. The purpose actually creates the how. The form follows function. The minute you make up your mind that you're only going to have a peaceful life, then your life will start to take the forms that allowed it to happen. They'll start to show up in your life. It's like I went to Amsterdam, right? Somebody saw me on YouTube who never promoted a workshop before, who resonated with what she saw in me, invited me over, paid the way over there, shared money for coming to do it. From the time I left here to the time I came back, everything went as smooth as I could possibly imagine. She and I met at the airport at the first time, and one of the things that we pointed out was how much trust on both parts that it took to even be willing to do this. She was freaked out at how smoothly everything had fallen into place. The place to do it, somewhere for me to stay, people who want to bake food for the thing, because we were both willing to trust and believe in the truth in each other, and had gotten to the point that we could recognize spirit at work and trust that our purpose, and then we watched our purpose create everything that we needed to have. Most people don't believe it happens. It works like that. They think they got to work out every finite detail first about how it's going to happen before they will go ahead and trust and move forward. And in each moment ask for guidance and be clear that that's what your purpose is, and then watch how it unfolds. So then everything becomes more of an unfoldment than a making. Making is hard. Unfolding is a lot easier. You know, but I had to take responsibility before I got on the plane. What was the responsibility? No matter however this turns out, I'm taking responsibility for that, and I'm not going to blame anybody for how it turns out one way or another. If I get over here and nothing goes right, I'm still innocent, and I am going to take responsibility for my willingness to take this chance. See, and I just noticed that when you're willing to take responsibility, then that's 99% of the problems gone right there. And not feel like you're alone doing it, because I never would have went if I thought it was just about me. And not that I didn't have the invisible presence of an infinite creator with me. I'm sorry. I do believe that there's something in me that's greater than the person that's sitting in this chair that I can turn to, which isn't a very popular concept sometimes around for those of us who see ourselves as evolving beings. We think more like it's about amassing more information for us to do on our own by ourselves. More so than what I'm trying to do is remove the blocks to get in touch with what created me in the first place, so I can let that work through me and in my life. You know, so I've tried both of those thought systems. I infinitely love being taken care of by the universe more than I did when I was trying to figure it all out on my own through my own wits. So guidance gets my vote, you know, but it's okay however anybody else want to do it. That's what's so cool. The more you find your path, it's really weird. The more you'll be okay about everybody following their path. You know, it's usually the people who don't know what they want that's always trying to interfere with everybody else, not the people who know what they want. So it's kind of cool. So really make getting in touch with your own heart and your own path your #1 priority. And when you do that, you'll automatically start being more compassionate and accepting of everybody else. It kind of goes together. A happy person usually isn't raising hell with everybody. It's usually the unhappy people that's judging and condemning everybody. So it's almost like you owe it to everybody you know to let yourself have a loving, fulfilling life. It's the best thing you could do for me is for you to have a good time and you to love you and you to have joy. It's great, because you're not going to be behind the building getting ready to mug me. Because you got joy in your life. And if I got joy in mine, my vibration probably won't even create that reality anyway. Which is really cool. You know. Yeah, Chris.
So when you were saying about that that like good people come into our lives and we deny that part of ourselves. And like good people are coming into our lives, but we're denying that part of ourselves. So then like that really spoke to me, because like I've told you before, you know, I see you as a prophet, but like actually then you
what does that mean when you say you see me as a prophet?
That I see you like as high.
And that's cool as long as you put yourself exactly at the same place.
But I don't.
But then you're not doing me a favor.
But see. So then, what you told me is profound for me, because then you're just showing up because you're reflecting a part of me.
Right.
That's already me.
Right.
But I'm denying that.
Right.
And so I'm like wanting to put you up on a pedestal and me. And me lower.
Yeah.
But I'm denying.
Yeah.
I'm denying that.
Right.
And so, I don't know, I'm coming to that place where like, I want more. One of the things I want more than anything is to, you know, see myself as equal.
Right. But you know how you know that that's what you want? Because when you told me that you saw me as different from you, I came right back and said, no, that's not true. We're equal. So I actually witnessed back to you the very belief that you said you wanted, which was equality. And putting me up on the pedestal, that just gives you better aim. You know, this gives everybody better aim. It's like, so I could care less about being on any kind of pedestal, because you just become the easiest shot, you know. And I would much rather be in the crowd. Even in the movies, when they're in the crowd, they say, hold up, they're in the crowd. They wait to get them off over to the side to pick them off, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't have any desire to be picked off, you know. But at the same time, I understand the spirit in which you say that to me in terms of being appreciated. And I appreciate that, you know, because that's something that I want. But see, I know when I'm looking at you, I'm looking at me too. So it's working both ways, you know. And so you're just as much gifting me as I'm gifting you. That's the way it always is, man. You know, that's how you can kind of tell if you're dealing with somebody you might need to be a little leery of, is how much equality is coming down in that situation. You know, how much specialness is coming down in that situation. You know, we all here to play a role. Sometimes the role we play may put you in front of 10,000 people, and the role that somebody else plays puts them in front of 2 people, but it doesn't make them any different. You know, just like Oprah said right before she finished her last show, you know, there's no way in the world she could have had any earthly idea that she was going to end up having the influence that she ended up having, and that she gave the glory to the higher power within herself. You know, you just can't get up in the morning and go, well, I'm going to influence 30 million people today. You know, and yeah, if that's the will of the universe, you know, yeah, maybe you will influence 30 million people today. But I tell you what, if it's not the will of the universe, it probably won't be much fun. I don't see a whole lot of freedom in that, actually. I love the ultimate freedom of being unknown, and I've been pretty damn successful at that. I've been great at being unfamous and unknown, and I have a ball, and it's nothing missing. I was thinking about that, you know, when I was doing my research in the red light district. I can do anything I want to do, however I want to do it, because I don't care. I don't care what people think of me, in the sense that most people are afraid to be themselves because it's going to affect how many people watch you. Like, some people get scared at things I'll say in this class, especially when I put it on the internet. You ruin your reputation. You know, people might get offended. It's like my reputation been shot for years. I ain't even worried about that. That's where my freedom is located.
Right.
You know, your freedom is located in your reputation being shot. Your freedom is located in you not caring what someone else thinks about you before you'll be yourself. Your freedom lies in all the things that's the opposite of everything the world teaches you. That's where all your freedom is. That's where all your fun is. It's everywhere the opposite of what the world teaches you, which is basically how to judge. You know, that's like, you know, how to judge, not how to accept, how to judge. So I feel so blessed to feel like I'm being sustained by something greater than me that will take care of me regardless of what people think about me. Then I can show up honest with people because I'm not trying to get anything from them. And I don't believe that I'm not going to be taken care of. Like, I'm going to do a love offering. That's an opportunity for me to receive. This is what I do in the world. But it's not like I think I'm going to starve if nobody in this room gave me anything tonight. You know what I'm saying? But you can be totally thankful to the channels that in your life. You know, that's where I want to be. Because everything in the world is temporary and comes and goes. My goal is to get in touch with what never leaves me, what's going to always be there no matter what. And that was what that trip kind of represented in a way. Because even over there, I was experiencing tons of appreciation and love and support. So it was good for me to experience what my own energy creates no matter where I go. That's a whole, you know, or the energy of spirit, I'd rather say. You know, it's not that I'm trying to be falsely humble, but I think it's easier to keep your ego in check if you keep giving the glory to the Creator and seeing yourself as a channel. Then you can receive the compliments because you realize what's really being complimented is the bigger compliment. You know what I mean? Because as you begin to be true to yourself, more and more people will be appreciating you, and they'll be telling you they appreciate you. So it'd be easy for your ego to get all involved, unless you. For me, unless I continue to, like you say, how I deal with tough and real world situations, you compliment me, I say I thank you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Then I also give the glory to that which created me in the first place and credit this whole situation in the first place. Keeps ego in check. Or the Course says you can have things that happen to you that are so awesome that your ego can't take credit for it because it's just too off the chain. So you can't even go, I made this happen at an ego level because it's just too cool. And so I was constantly having that kind of experience where I would go, this is something. This is a love greater than what I can imagine is happening in my life right now. That's doing this right here. You know, it was that constantly. Oh, what? Wow! Thank you. So I believe now that my new currency is gratitude. That when other people may say currency is money, my currency is gratitude. You know, the more gratitude I share, the more everything seems to be handled and taken care of. Everything is paid for through gratitude. So when I get upset, I try to think of thought of gratitude, real world response. What can I be grateful? Oh, this is another opportunity for me to unlearn something. Oh, I'm grateful for that.
There we go.
You see what I'm saying? I'm mad right now. I need something I need to be. I'm grateful that I can even admit that I feel mad and be okay about it and not beat myself up for it. And then ask myself, what is it in me that I need to look at differently right now so that I can let this thought go? Yeah. You know, I see something crazy in you right now. Instead of trying to correct you, go, oh my God, I just saw my own crazy thought. What is it in my mind that needs to be corrected right now? Because I saw some insanity in you. So that's where conscious being goes. They go,
You're not alone.
you see what I'm saying? And it must be in you too, because I see you. But then that's up to you to admit whether or not you're going to take responsibility for you having those thoughts too. So it's not up to me to point out to you that you're crazy. It's up to me to point out I got crazy thoughts that saw your craziness, and then ask that my own crazy thoughts be corrected. Right. See, that's what I love about how the truth. The further you go along, the less it involves trying to get anybody else's ego involved. To make that's where all the trouble come from, is us trying to get each other's egos to come to peace. The ego is not going to ever, that part of me that wants to be separate from you no matter what, it's not going to ever want peace with you. Because I'm trying to establish my individuality by my difference from you. So I don't want to agree with you to maintain my separation from you. So that part of me that wants to be separate, there's a built-in not wanting to agree with you. Because we would join. I would lose my sense of separation from you if I agreed with you too much. You see, so there's a part of me that just wants to be separate. And I need to admit that. It's a part of me that just wants to be separate. Loves it. Looks forward to it. I'm glad that I can get in my car and drive off from everybody. That's the way it looks. So that's how I show you how cool love is. Love is so cool that until we love each other completely, we can appear to separate and then learn to see each other different. That's great. That's actually wonderful. Really, until we learn how to love each other, I think it's an incredible thing that we can seem to be separate from each other until we can do it. So these are some of the beliefs that I want to purge, in the belief of separation or difference from you. Yeah. So let's do the unthinkable. Let's acknowledge ourselves for hearing it. Can we do that? I know sometimes we get into ourselves with one of the toughest things that we can possibly do. Now here's another test. Should we acknowledge each other? Yeah, that's another way. That'll work. That'll work. And as you look around the room, the one thing that's absolutely certain is that the people in here are what? Juicy and cute. And we got the juicy, cute thing down right now. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate it so much.
I know.
It just seemed like that experience, and I've been there. It's not just a bunch of, the down and out people on corners. What did you? I'm really curious to know what your feeling was about walking through that and experiencing that. What I honestly try to do when I'm in this situation like that is, first of all, not to judge it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And to really just ask for peace everywhere I am in any situation that I am, because I feel like I don't really know what's best for anyone. Right. And so, and then whatever they're doing, that's between them and their creator, right? Them and their soul. What I'm saying that you were saying, like, how was I feeling about it? Yeah, I think it's fascinating. I thought the place was fascinating. I thoroughly enjoyed. I feel like I was blessed more than tourists are blessed, right? Because the people that I met were people who lived there and who were taking me all the places that tourists don't go. So right. I spent maybe 2 hours, maybe max, in what people would think of as the red light district or the tourist things. The rest of the time, I was actually having relationships with the people where they're taking me to little indie places that right. most people wouldn't even know about. And so I was really, but the energy and the love that I experienced there, and the beauty and the incredible consciousness of the people that Spirit sent into my life blew me away. I felt like it was a meeting of souls who had made a decision before they were born to come together in this place to reinforce each other's path. Right. That's what it felt like to me. And we've talked about that, how it felt like we were there together by divine appointment because right. of the way we bonded so fast, and it supposedly was the first time that we met each other. And already, there's an invitation to come back and do some more. So I've just been blown away. Fascinating place. It just fascinating. Yeah, well, it kind of reminded me of the 1950s in terms of how the buildings and everything looked, but that was inhabited by love aliens. That's what it kind of reminded me of. These the people that it's like it was like there seemed to be a different attitude about the body, would be the best way I could put it. A more naturalness about it, and I like that. that's what I was getting at. Is that
Yeah.
it's not you're there when you're there. When you hear about it from the outside, this is kind of a microcosm, I think, of part of life. Is that, you know, when you're looking at it from the outside, the third person, you know, it's easier to judge. When you're there, it's easier to see.
And you also
And
see
easier
how
to
the
just kinda
things
go,
that you hear
wow,
the most
this is
about
really
it.
interesting.
Yeah, you hear, and the things that you hear the most about it are the things that's the smallest part of your experience of the place. Like the first thing I heard about was the red light district and the fact that you could, you know, buy marijuana really easily and,
Right.
and other various kinds of medicine.
Right.
And because everything is neutral, it's what you want to use it for that's going to determine what happens. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is about everything. And I don't exclude what people think of as drugs from that. You know, there are people who can kill themselves. You can kill yourself on anything here. That's why you know that something's trying to get us out of here fast. Think about it. You only come here one way, but you can leave here in zillions of ways. Think about that. Just think about that sometimes. How many ways you could leave out of the body right in this one room right here. But you usually, all of us come here the same way. So it's just an interesting thought I realized one day, you know. So this has got to be school. And what I love was the open-mindedness.
Yeah, that's
To me, a culture
what I
that
was
could even
thinking.
come up with that scenario has to be a culture at some level that's very much more open-minded, you know. And
That's
and I always feel more at home when I'm around people who are open-minded, willing to try new things, not trying to be like everybody else, willing to think for themselves, willing to try. That's the kind of folk I absolutely
That's what
love
I
being
got out
around.
of it, too.
People who you don't always know what's going to happen because they just followed the script that they were given from the world, so you know exactly what they're going to do before they do it, like little robots that are innocent robots. And I like to be with the rebellious ones. You know, I love the rebellious ones. I love the ones who are determined to follow their own light.
And Amsterdam as a whole is kind of like that, and that's why I wanted to ask you
Yeah,
about that, because
exactly.
that was my feeling too. Is that these people are not just marching in a predetermined path that somebody said they're supposed to, and it's fascinating.
But the reason why we are here in the States is because at this particular time, if we happen to be here, is because out of all the places on the globe, in this moment, this is the best place for us to be too.
Right.
See, that's the thing about it. Did you when I was there, that was the best place on the globe for me to be. There was nothing I could have received more than what I could receive right there. Now I'm back here. Then I go, oh, all my blessings are right here. Everything that I could possibly experience that would be wonderful would be right here. See, I love that kind of attitude because then I'm not always somewhere not present. You know, like I'm over here, oh, I wish I was in Amsterdam. I wish I was in Amsterdam. Okay, then I'm going to miss all the love that's in this room right in front of my face. And I don't want to do that, but I want to use that as a loving thought and a loving memory and gratitude. Tons and tons and tons of gratitude, just like I have for you. So let's make space. Let's make space for the new beliefs. Realize nobody else is responsible for your happiness. 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 Nobody else, I don't care how cute you are. Nobody else is responsible for your happiness. You're innocent. All right? See y'all next time. I hope I see you on Sunday. If not, I'll see you the next time I see you. I guarantee you that. Appreciate y'all. Plugs are available. Awesome beings. That's what you are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I literally just